Eve, thank you for joining us. Bruno, great job. Thank you so much. Okay, a couple things I think that illustrates for me. Remember in the morning, people talked about how the value largely came at the vertical level. I think that really illustrates how if you're getting the value out of AI today, there's a huge need to understand what's happening in particular verticals. And the other thing I found really interesting what Eve said was this pivot from software as maybe the key thing to data. And I just say that makes a pretty big difference for those at big companies. It is really hard to turn a big company, traditional company, into something that's cutting edge as a software company. On the other hand, if you think about it, it's still a big stretch to take a big company and make it excellent at data. But boy, just think about all the equipment NG sits on, and all they have to do is put sensors there. So absolutely fascinating. Where we want to go now is professional service firms. So remember how Subi was talking about how services has been the sort of graveyard of human capital because productivity doesn't improve. And so we want to focus in on one sector, professional service firms. And not only that, this being INSEAD, we know consulting is a big source of employment. So we're going to invite up something that Bruno talked about this morning with his Sheldon, and I'm going to invite one of the originators, Emmanuel Jusserand, partner at Accenture Digital Strategy, to tell about the future of consulting. Emmanuel, over to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks a lot. Hi, I'm a managing director at Accenture Strategy, based out of Paris. You can see from my accent. I've got a question. I've heard that many MBA students are in the room. So how many? Can you raise your hand? Okay, quite a lot. Okay, so so maybe you will be an intern or an analyst next year. So what I want to say is meet the competition. So Sheldon is a virtual consultant. That's the one we have created like a year ago because we were a bit annoyed because times are changing. We used to do consulting that way. Gather a few data points, use cases, analyze that, format it, organize it a bit, then trying to make sense out of it. Then we have some meetings with the client. Finally, we try to consolidate all this and we come up with a recommendation. Not totally true, okay? Probably a bit of a caricature, but you get the picture. Globally, that's what we used to do. And don't tell the other big firms. I mean, that's probably what they do too. And things are changing. Things are changing because we see our clients saying, but what do you do yourself? Because you advise us to change because the digital wave needs to be embraced. We need to transform ourselves. We need to take into account all the impacts. But what do you do as a consulting firm to do exactly the same? So that's what we want to say, and what we want to say as a response. That's Sheldon. And we believe that it has two impacts that are really, really important. The first one is that it changes the way we work. Probably it will replace consultants at some stage. Today we do say that it augments consultants. It's better, because otherwise there's some kind of reluctance and they're a bit scared that maybe, yes, they won't have a job like in 10 years' time. So that's an issue we need to take care of. But second, it changes the way our clients consider us, because we are accepting to get self-disrupted. So Sheldon is 1 year old. I would say he's as good as an intern, probably not as an analyst, but still, I mean, it's making progress every day because it's learning, and that's what is good about it. And we've created 7 different modules. We see it as a platform where you can put verticals, and we have many different types of algorithms that can be plugged in. I won't go into the details because I'm a parent of Sheldon, but there's another parent in the room, Clémence Knebel, and you can meet her upstairs at the booth, and she can do the proper demo. I said I would say that so that you can go upstairs afterwards and don't miss that part. So she can explain most of the modules that are here. If I pick one, this one is about analyzing the annual reports of the S&P 2000 companies. We do NLP. NLP is clear for everybody? Just checking. NLP? Yeah. Natural language processing. Okay, it does that. It analyzes all the annual reports, and it says, okay, what do they talk about? We analyze the semantic field of each topic, and then we check and we compare each company within its industry and with other companies and its peers. What we do also with the Sheldon Ventures, another module, is analyze startups. We do have access to 50 to 100,000 history of startups, and we try to predict their future success. Not surprised? No, that's okay. You're comfortable with the fact that we're predicting the success of startups? Well, okay, so accuracy is 80%, which is good, but only for the top 20%. Okay, so it's non-conclusive for the 80%. Well, not the bottom ones. For the bottom ones, we are pretty sure that they will fail. So, I mean, but that's good. I mean, that's still interesting. And we can act upon that kind of feedback from Sheldon. So what you see here is that, okay, we're using an MIT algorithm at the beginning. We enhanced it a bit, and we used all the history of Accenture in scanning, scouting, screening startups in order to feed Sheldon with our DNA, what we are looking for in startups, and to make sure that there is a proper match and there are good chances of success. So it's being used today by Accenture Ventures to help them screen companies. And the last one I want to present is Sheldon Trends, identifying, with low signals on the market, on new technologies, on new business levers, on new stuff that companies are working on. This is what Sheldon Trends is aiming to do. Okay, so I'm done on that, but I've got some time to take questions I've heard. Okay, so please go ahead.
All right, so let's open up. Any questions about Sheldon and future of consulting right here?
Which are the KPIs or the metrics that you use to determine the success of a startup specifically?
Okay, so we define that as chances of doing twice the valuation in 5 years' time. Okay, so to be beyond twice the valuation of today.
And how can this be applied to a project with a company?
Okay, so many of our clients have launched open innovation types of programs, and they do try, I think someone mentioned the CAC 40 trying to discuss and to cooperate with startups. So many companies and many of our clients are looking to get to know more startups and to know what are the ones that are valuable and what are the ones that would match with their culture, with their DNA, with their constraints, and with their objectives. So we try to facilitate that.
Okay, so you basically adjust the metrics according to the client's need then?
That's the beauty of it, yes. What we've taught Sheldon with Accenture culture, because all the companies that we have studied in the past, it reflects somehow what Accenture thinks of these startups. And we feed that into Sheldon. We want to do exactly the same with our clients, because they are not interested in the same stuff, and they don't have the same constraints and objectives. We need to adapt Sheldon. That's why on this, we do come up with different results depending on each company. Okay, that's the beauty of learning.
Very good. Who's got the mic over here? Yep, go.
When will Sheldon start interacting with clients?
Sheldon interacting directly with clients.
So that's a key question. We started thinking about it right at the beginning. Today, Sheldon is being used internally only. We presented it with a couple of clients, and we've introduced Sheldon on several projects, and we have had Sheldon working only with consultant teams. Okay, not directly with clients. Next step is to start having Sheldon having discussions with these consultants. So this year is the year for having a chatbot and speech-to-text, text-to-speech implemented for Sheldon. And the step afterwards is discuss directly with clients.
Very good. One last question in the Mac, if you've got the mic.
Traditionally in the consulting world, yes, young consultants, they do this kind of job to learn the trade as well. It's the start of a career. So how do you see using this kind of tool in terms of building the career path and the expertise in the consulting pyramids of the progression? So how people are going to progress if they don't do the nitty-gritty work anymore?
Okay. Okay. It's like, you know, making complex calculations. I mean, you use your computer to do that today. Maybe doing that like 100 years ago, everybody thought that it was better to do it, you know, yourself. So this is the same kind of stuff. We do believe that our consultants can focus on more interesting stuff, more important things, and trying to think about, okay, what is the kind of recommendation I should make based on the better informed type of a collection of data and insight that I got from Sheldon. And I think that the true value added comes from this part, thinking together about what to come up with a recommendation for clients.
We can do one more if you want.
Yeah, I think a couple,
Right.
more than a couple.
Well, here we go. Wait, I'll tell you what we'll do. Why don't we just grab a couple questions, and then you can respond. So just, but really quick questions.
Okay, sorry. One quick question. Okay, here. If
where are you?
Here, in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, sorry. My second question today. If you want to break down the recommendation between your consulting team and Sheldon now, you know, on certain business problem, how you break it down? How much of them are Sheldon driven and how much of them is your consultant driven?
That's great. Next question.
What's the
I don't have a clue, short answer.
Okay, great.
42, the answer.
That's a nice, always a good answer. Nice.
Apart from that, let's talk about that at the booth.
Okay, last question.
What's the profit model for Sheldon?
What's the profit, the business model?
The profit model. Yes, the business model, the profit
business
model.
We want to price it very, very expensive.
That's good. All right. Thank Emmanuel and Sheldon. Thank you.